Welcome into the Swolecast, where it's bye week season for a lot of people and their best ball teams. I'm sure they're sweating it out, but we don't care about that here. Right now, we all we care about is being the premier first look show, and to do that, we had to bring on a heavy hitter. So, with that being said, let's just get right into it. It's the Swolecast here on RotoGrinders.com.
You Davis Mattek from the Swolecast? I was like, yep, that's me.
I just want you guys to know I'm total dust. I'm the problem.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Leave it to the guy with the crypto dunes, Abby, to not understand context.
I should have known you getting 30 likes was directly written by someone else.
You know me, I don't do a ton of research before the show.
I've put no research into this. Don't know if it's true at all.
You're on the right show.
To it, bro. Live a little.
Live a little.
Just live a little, guys.
All right, welcome into the Swolecast. David Kitchen here alongside Davis Mattek, Pete Overzet, and a big welcome to friend of the show, now actually on the show, high stakes heavy hitter RikkiDee. Ricky, how's it going? Like, of all the accomplishments, I don't even know how many millionaire tournaments you've won, but rank this appearance.
Oh man,
with all these others. Yeah.
It's got to
Like,
be number one.
bucket list, like not even like DFS bucket, like this is life bucket list. Like being on this show, I've been watching long time fan. Number one, I was gonna say this is the first look podcast each week. It's like, you guys are just like this warm, bowl of bread they bring to your table, at a restaurant. It's just such great vibes. No nutritional value. No, like, but like,
and then people fill up so much on us that they don't even want the main course.
That's right. That's all you need all week.
That's how RotoGrinders gets you. That's how they get you, is they give you this full cast for free.
Yeah.
Well, I got to say, Ricky, too, like, when you come on Lulz, like, you're always slumming it up. I feel like one time you did the podcast outdoors. Like, now you're in your office. I haven't even seen this backdrop. You can tell you're taking this seriously.
Oh, did you see? Look I put a football back there. So like, I know ball.
That's right.
Sports.
Sports, baby.
All right. I trust you guys had a good Thanksgiving, and now it's just time to kind of look forward. For those wondering where Tuttle is, he's buried in UCL projections, I'm sure. There's a UCL game, Davis?
Yeah, that's why Mr. D is on with us today, because I looked at the schedule. I said Tuttle probably is going to be trying to play catch up today. Ricky mentioned to me that he wanted to do it, and so there we are. We are Tuttle now. Rob Coakley, I fear Rob is setting the bar too high for himself, but he just put out the Tuttle only edition of last week's Swolecast. It was 5 minutes and 57 seconds of an hour-long program.
Yeah. So Rob,
good work
Rob,
if you can get it.
Those are efficient minutes. That he puts out there.
And the best part of it is every time Tuttle talks, someone was like, yeah, I really want to see what Tuttle has to think about this. Like, he's never interjected.
we should have timestamps for when Tuttle actually talks. Just so people
Rob,
can like
another job for Rob.
Yeah, shout out to Rob for I don't even know like how much you would have to kind of hate yourself to do that. To do a Davis only, where you're just clipping out Davis and then waiting through other Davis talk to get just to Tuttle. That's
let me tell you, they couldn't pay me to do it. I guarantee you that would not be a job I would do.
I think Coakley should like fully lean into the bit. I'm scared to even say this because Rob takes this stuff and run with it, but you should just start an entire podcast feed called Sans Davis Mattek and just upload everything Davis does without Davis audio on it. I mean, I would subscribe to that.
With AI.
I guarantee there's a market for that, by the way. Like, I guarantee there are people that are like, the Take Cast. I love Pat. I love Brian Hooper. Like, I want these shows, but that fucking Davis kid, he's just so obnoxious. I guarantee there's a market for it.
There's got to be AI also like that's going to be able to do that, where you just take out the person you don't like. It's kind of like the old message boards where you could mute someone that you didn't want to hear. That's coming. So
kind of like FanDuel chat, like the guy who just kept spamming Blake Griffin out. You just learn to ignore that. You just learn to ignore that guy.
This is such a spam fest.
Ricky, were you around for the old FanDuel days? Give people just your background, basically.
I mean, I've been in the game since basically day one. I was part of, I don't know, there was a site called Draft Day that like Andrew Wiggins, Taylor Cavey started, and I was part of that too. And we were just obsessed with DFS. We played like more DFS than we actually like ran the site. So like we were like basically in on the draft. We were before DraftKings. So yeah, like I've been like in on DFS from early age, just kind of was always a huge fan. Watched the Swolecast early, the old lots of RotoGrinders content, all the old G's. So yeah. I've
Draft Day was part of that. Helped me just launch fantasysports.org. I won the worm back in the day.
The old worm.
Used that to buy fantasysports.org. But
there was actually.
Would you guys all be just like quadrillionaires if you would have trademarked Draft Day and then you could have just sued the hell out of the Kevin Costner movie?
Yeah, that was a big moment for us. We were trying to capitalize on that. Didn't happen. They're too powerful. Shame. There was we had a whiteboard at the office actually that was just like for our brainstorming ideas, but it said Soccer Dave is here. Because you came into the Chicago office one time and you just wrote that, and that was just like permanently on our office. So your presence was like always with us.
Gosh. I'm so old that I barely remember that. Like I barely remember coming to the office, but I do remember it. It's just barely. Like it seems like a lifetime ago.
Oh, that was so a decade ago.
Well, David, literally was a lifetime ago. We are so old in this industry that was now like. Dave, that was over a third of my life ago when all of that stuff was happening.
Now look at you.
When I was playing on RikkiDee's site, that was like my first DFS exposure when I was like a broke college kid.
Yeah. We were talking about Davis in the office all the time. It's just saying this guy's got the worst takes out there.
The more things change, the more they stay.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, we've had the appetizer of the appetizer, so let's get into just the real appetizer, the real apps with Pete's Overzet's overview.
Got that dog in a butt. Got that dog in a butt. Overzet overview. Come on.
I think what Kitchen was trying to say is this isn't like you just get the mozzarella sticks. This is like the triple play. This is like the sampler platter of appetizers here in the Overzet's overview. We always got to start with last week. Shout out to our Week 12 Swolecast lineup that featured not one, not two, not three, but four snowflakes in it, including the Giga Brain punt play, A.T. Perry. And it's hilarious too because A.T. Perry got the Quentin Johnston red carpet roll out for him. Literally every other Saints pass catcher exiting the game still couldn't manage more than one catch. Davis, thank you for being, I don't know, directionally accurate or inaccurate.
Buddy, if you liked A.T. Perry at 0.3% owned last week, you're gonna love A.T. Perry at 8.6% owned this week, Peter.
I know you're sick enough to go back there. Yesterday, we got big news about both Mark Cuban selling his majority share in the Mavs, and also sad news of Charlie Munger's passing there. And what I'm trying to say is yesterday was essentially CSU Ram 88 Super Bowl of news events.
Yeah.
And I will.
Was there a new Chamath podcast for him to listen to?
Yeah. And also, in case you were wondering, yes, Peter did tweet out his favorite Charlie Munger quote. I know everyone was wondering if he would do that, but he did.
I love that guy.
For the audio listeners only, I do want to let you know Mr. Tuttle 05 isn't here today. You just wanted to confirm that. You wouldn't know otherwise, but he is not actually here today. No, we have RikkiDee filling in for him And it's actually more than just joining the Swolecast. Ricky's actually taking over for Darren Rovell. He signed a 10-year contract as the new head of content in sports biz reporting for Better Collective. Big shoes to fill, but congratulations, Ricky, on your new gig.
Thanks. Easy game.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Ricky is just this is just for one show. He's actually part of a new faction, a new movement of DFS players. They used to hate DFS touts, but they've recently joined this new movement called Effective DFS Altruism. And what they do is they join tout sites as an active charity, and they work for free to help the DFS community by sharing their knowledge. So I do really appreciate that, Ricky.
Just like Giving Day. Yeah, it's Giving Day a day later. To the
that is good content. That is like the perfect triangle of all of my interests in one joke. That was really
I do
good.
like that. Here's on a more sober note, though, guys.
Yeah.
You want to know how I know David Kitchen is just a sad, broken man, a shell of his former self, and that's because Derrick Henry scored 2 touchdowns on Sunday, and this guy couldn't even muster a single tweet that said something like, "D Hember's almost here, guys." I mean, what happened to you, Kitchen?
Listen, it was I was enjoying family time. Yeah, I was enjoying family time, and I just felt like I don't know,
just as Aguiar intended, right?
The magic, the magic is gone.
Yeah, it's gone. It's sad. You've lost your fastball, Kitchen. Looking to week 13, we do have a game with a 50-point total, the Dolphins and the Commanders. And people are already out here posting screenshots of their 2 double stacks with double Commanders bring back. So I'm sure that'll be very sneaky come Sunday. And by the way, is there a single better DFS bit that has had the longevity and lasted as long as putting like a random collection of players in a DraftKings GPP shell and tweeting out, "Now what?"
Now what? Yeah.
It's an absolutely timeless template for laughs.
Well,
and if you're a blossoming
Ricky
content
tweeted,
creator of the space, give it a whirl. Yeah, Ricky, try it out. Just put
he
players in
tweeted
it.
the greatest
Now
bit
what?
of all time, which was the say the line Bart of tout saying Jalen Waddle provides excellent leverage off Tyreek Hill in this spot, which is
13
like
weeks in a row.
No, 3 years in a row. It's every week.
Yeah.
All right, that's
All right.
it. I'm done.
Good job.
Good. That was good. All right, so let's talk about this this slate of games that we have. We've got no Josh Allen to to really lean on, and is Patrick Mahomes in the slate, Davis?
No, they play
Yeah.
Monday night, Sunday night.
Green Bay.
So
Sunday night.
Yeah,
last week, Pete said that Patrick Mahomes is basically unplayable,
he did.
and he was, and you kind of defended old Patty, and I want to know, has your stance softened since then?
Me or Peter?
You.
I mean, I played him last week.
I mean,
You played
he's
Mahomes?
pretty much unplayable.
Yeah, I ran the Sims. I got a 36% ROI lineup with Mahomes, Rice, Watson, and Kelsey. So I played that. And Rice was good. I mean, at the end of the day, nothing else mattered last week if you didn't have if you did not have Josh Allen and Gabriel Davis. You were not making no money.
Can we talk about this? Because I was lurking in the secret chat. And can we talk about this where there was an instance where the guys were talking about swaps? And if you know Davis, you know he loves to swap. He lives.
Yeah,
to swap,
I mean, we could
almost.
talk about it. I did literally the dumbest, fishiest thing of all time last week, where I left an early player in my first spot on
that
DraftKings.
yes.
Real
You
quick,
put
is
him in
Ricky D in the secret chat?
No.
No.
We couldn't even invite anyone. This secret chat that David references is the Fantasy Insiders chat from over a decade ago on Slack. We couldn't invite someone to it if we wanted to.
Yeah, we can't even get into it. So it's just like if something happens, we're locked out. I don't know what we would do. But anyways, Davis was like, "All right, guys, I'm going I'm going Kyron and Kyler." And Kyle Cannon just ripped Davis a new one. I mean,
Kyle likes to be wrong about swaps. It's sort of like his bit at this point.
Is he still in DFS suites?
He plays cash, and I
Yeah.
think Sean still kind of is his horse the way I
Yeah.
understand it. So
He's
But
still,
yeah.
he's still in the streets. As far as like cash games and stuff. So, anyways, there could not have been a more Davis. I want to know from your perspective when you swap to a guy like Kyron and he goes off like that. That's got to be, even if your ROI was like, whatever. That's got to be equal to.
Well, I
you,
basically
like,
beat
PPP.
I had like the best team on the site because I beat the big train, so I won every game that I played. But I mean, that's just honestly at this point, the expectations with the swaps are getting a little bit unrealistic to the point that I'm like kind of like when my team is shitty at noon because then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I'm just gonna swap onto the nuts.
I'll
You
go
know?
a step further. I think you're intentionally sabotaging
Playing
your
bad.
first lineup just so you could like Undertaker.gif and be like, I'm the swap king, bitches.
Honestly, I wouldn't
You're
even
like-
tell you that that's wrong.
You're like Russ in the fourth quarter a few years ago, like when he was on Seattle, and like he would just suck all game, and Pete Carroll would just not play him, and then they just cook like crazy once they got
Let
down
Russ
a little
cook.
bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
let
All
Dave
right.
cook.
Let's. The first question I have though about quarterbacks is Joe Flacco going to be playable?
Oh,
Please stop.
That is
so-
only a question that you would ask.
Okay. I do have a note about this show. So like this is a really good signal for basically any one of these like all square groan moments where like everyone groans at Kitchen's call. Like these plays have been like historically highly predictable in terms of like they sim very well in terms of ROI once the post lock comes and they come in at like -2% own. So like anytime, just take note, fans of the show, like if Kitchen calls
the
out
groan
someone
plays.
the groan plays, like those are by far the highest ROI plays. They might not hit,
I love it.
but they have the highest ROIs.
All right, you gotta put that in the Sims. Like you gotta boost a
Yeah.
guy's projection by like 15% when we get
Based on what
the
people think about
foregrown.
him.
Yeah.
All right, so we do have some expensive quarterbacks. Then, like the middle of the pack, you've got Purdy and Minshew and Peter's boy Howell and Baker. So you're
Pete,
just going,
Pete, I got this one for you. Is the field just going to continue to slappy CJ Stroud and Tank Dell until the prices get like, what would the price combination have to be for CJ Stroud and Tank Dell for it to not be the highest combinatorial ownership on the slate? Like how high?
I mean, people are still
do we
going to
have?
slam Tank Dell. I do wonder if this 8,100 is finally
81.
the sticker shock moment.
I'm if 7,700 wasn't the sticker shock moment, let me tell you, 8,100 ain't gonna be it. There's no chance.
Here, I will tell you this though. There's a very the narrative of the Broncos are much better than they were is getting pretty strong. It's getting some legs on Twitter. They've won a bunch of games in a row. I don't know. I think people are going to play Tank, but I don't think CJ is going to be mega owned.
I said that last week, and he was like monster owned. Like I just couldn't believe that. 18% in a milli or something.
Ricky, what did you have any thoughts on the ownership projections last week across the entire industry?
Yeah, they were
were
awful.
as bad as they've been probably all year. Did you notice that?
I mean, yeah, it was odd that people like didn't see a lot of it coming though. Like I guess like it was one of those like button clicking weeks, I guess, and the button clickers actually kind of did pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a weird blip, like kind of an odd blip there.
you've got to your point, Pete, Russell Wilson at 5,700. People have swore off him, but he's actually playing against Houston now. They are doing better.
It's just not enough. There's not enough pace. Denver does not play fast enough on offense to get. I mean, that's like an example of a spot the Sims are going to tell you is dust. Would be like Russ and Jerry Jeudy, where it'd be like maybe three years ago in DFS, you'd be like, oh, Russ is playing better and Courtland Sutton scores every week and you can't keep getting away with it. You got to get them in the low on spot. Whereas like, I don't know. I mean, I already know. I can already see into the future. I can go. I can see myself Sunday morning, and I already know what I'm gonna do, which is Kyler Murray, Greg Dortch, and Pat Freiermuth as my core to throw the chalk in around. Like I already know that's what I'm doing.
The one thing it gives me a little pause when Kitchen says it is because I wanted to write off Trevor Lawrence last week. I was looking at his projection and I just wanted to IKB that. I'm like, he's been so mid. I don't want to do it. But the Texans just push every single one of these teams. And Russell has actually been playing decent. It's a bummer they don't have a more exciting pass catcher to use, because then you could start talking about like vomit, Russ Wilson double stacks and catch up mode, but it's just like not there.
Judy might come off IR, dude.
Judy's gonna sim like real well here because like he's the classic guy that cannot get steam. He's a great player. Hate to say it.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Sims love Jerry Judy.
Well,
I didn't groan at it, so it's not that great of a play, Ricky.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I mean, I got one for you guys. At what ownership does Sam Howell become? Sam Howell doubles with Tyreek or Waddle, take your pick. At what point does that become untenable? Because like I'm really not interested in turning the cards over on Sunday and sharing Sam Howell and Curtis Samuel with 1,800 of my closest friends.
I think you got to get him into like mid double digits before it becomes untenable. His pass rate is so good. I can't imagine his pass catchers get like collectively too steamed. It's just hard. It's like hard for the field to zero in on one of those guys. So it's going to be, I think he's going to be a great play at like really steamed ownership.
I think the only pass catcher that gets steamed is Curtis Samuel, right? Coming off the big Thanksgiving game. He's cheaper, and it has been so spread out too that it's like, I'll just play Logan Thomas and Curtis Samuel and not deal with like the Dotson McLaurin stuff.
Nate told me Logan Thomas is unplayable in any game that Curtis Samuel's active. He peered into the data. He peered into the data.
I love narratives. I love those new narratives that are like people are stretching for the narratives. You got to love them, like the Zay Jones, Calvin Ridley one, Logan Thomas. Haven't heard that one, but you got to just lean into those anytime you hear them. They got to be predictive, right?
What's the other one? Is it Debo versus zone or man?
Oh, Debo zone.
Zone.
Unplayable schematically, bro.
The DFS nerds have become like too self-aware, too knowledgeable. It's like they need to realize that they exist on the bell curve meme. They're in the center.
They're straight up mid. Like they're as mid as
they are the most mid IQ.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a DK team.
Right. Yeah, real quick. Baker is projecting pretty well. Any sort of interest in him this week? Might be on a bum ankle.
Baker Evans has probably been one of the more like cost-effective points per dollar, but I'm not
100%. Isn't
Baker there like the slightly sexier Matthew Stafford, where it like always looks like it should line up for him to have the big day, and it's like the pass catchers are there, and then just never puts
Stafford
threw
4 touchdowns last week and didn't sniff the optimal. The same thing.
I was all over Stafford. That was one of the more brutal runouts.
Oh,
yeah. Just like zero chance at hitting a top score.
Yeah.
Let's build a lineup, shall we?
Yes.
And we'll let the guest of honor, Mr. RikkiDee, go first.
Fuck. So yeah, I ran a little my sim action here just to see what it liked before. I know you guys are getting a little insight.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking just you guys think Howell's going to get steamed here? Eh? I mean, that's
Howell is going to be 22% owned in the $100 single.
No. Howell's going to be this week's Minshew, right? Where he gets a little popular, but he tops off like 11 or 12%.
There's a lot of options.
This week, the quarterbacks, they get nasty real quick. Like there's Purdy, Stroud, Hurts, kind of like Tua, obviously. But like after that, man, take your pick. It's pretty gross. So Howell could see a lot of steam here. I'm still going to just lock Howell. I just think he's just such a good play. He's easy to stack. We can have some fun with it. Just get him in there and
we play the best plays on this show. It's all right.
You're not going to get any. You're not going to get any sort of pushback from Pete. That's for sure.
I also Clay Matthews, normally we're just shooting from the hip here. And today we're building a sim backed lineup. Clay isn't going to know what hit him.
Oh, dude, 13. He has no idea what's coming.
You better watch out.
By the way, okay, we'll talk about it later.
I mean, I feel like you know the show, Ricky. If you have something you want to talk about, we talk about it now. There is no.
Well,
there's no
I don't
way.
know if you guys have heard, but there's a free square on this slate, and he's kind of the entire slate.
Okay,
Have you
I
guys
know
heard
it.
this
I know
guy?
what it is. I know what it
Yeah.
is. I bet.
Do
I'll
you,
guess it.
Dave?
Congratulations,
Yeah, do
Kitchens.
you?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Do you want me to go now and just tell you guys what it is?
Yeah.
Sure.
Joe Flacco
right.
subbed in for Sam Howell.
Because
Yeah, good.
no, this so we were talking about draft day earlier, and it was just like an amazing site. It had everything. It had like projected lineups. It was everything you want it to be. It was just a little bit too early. And
It was the players. It was for the players. It was built by
100%.
players for players.
it was a little bit before its time, and I think Davis last week was a little bit before his time, because there's a guy who's 3,300 this week with no one ahead of him. He played 80% of he was in 80% of routes, and I think he's going to be playing a lot, and that's A.T. Perry. So we're going to put him in this week's lineup.
Only Kitchen could turn in a conversation about Zach Moss into A.T. Perry. Like, how did you just do that?
Yeah. Hey guys, you know what all AT stands for?
Something wild.
All touches, baby.
Nope.
He's getting all the
yeah.
touches this week.
Exactly. Like, people are going to be scared to play him because of him not doing anything last week, but he could legit be a good play, Davis.
A.T. Perry, A.T. Man, I'm trying
I mean,
to
the
workshop
thing
something
that
here.
I'm personally hoping for is that we get treated to the full Lynn Bowden experience. Those look, if you want to rewind the clock back to 2017 college football DFS, literally no one was greater in the history of time than Lynn Bowden. So go ahead and put Zach Moss in this lineup.
Where do you get your ideas?
This week is really defined by this bullshit.
Let's have Ricky actually talk about this, because this is an interesting game theory spot. Obviously, is a free square, probably mispriced by $200 to $2,500 in salary.
I'm looking at some of these early week projections, and man, they're popping them up there in like this like borderline like CFC range. It's
okay.
Wild. Yeah.
So
this
talk us through
rough.
where is an efficient ownership, and at what point does he become like, if you knew the field was going to play 100% Zach Moss, would you full fade him?
Oh, I don't know. That's a very interesting one. I like 100% is a tough one. I don't even know what the Sims can even conceptualize that. I mean, I could legitimately see him being 100% in like 20 mans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think there's probably an argument if you like you'd be like in that 90 to 100. Like if it's 90, then you got to play him. 100, like I guess you could think about it, but I think you're gonna see him like 60, 70% in a lot of GPPs. Like at that point, I still think he's a play, honestly. Like I'm looking at what my Sims are saying.
Raheem Mostert was 55% in the Millie Maker and on the winning team. He smashed.
Yeah. This is the thing. It's like his failure rate is so low. He's got like 100% market share. I don't know that like what's the total in that game? Like they're favorites versus Tennessee. I don't know if there's like a narrative against Tennessee anymore.
Yeah,
You're
finally getting to the crux of the. You're finally getting to the crux of the argument with big Jeffrey Simmons up front. Thierry Tart just jamming people. Harold Landry, the outside linebacker, just getting
except Zach Moss in like week 4 or whatever, just absolutely like wrecked Tennessee. Like out of nowhere, he broke through that.
We're still getting our legs back then, coming off a big win at home. Like that is the counterpoint to the 4,600, 100% market share Zach Moss. Like who else do they even have right now?
Trey Sermon. He's a lock. You play him on every spot.
Yeah,
slight work.
Pretty much, I'd say.
All right, so Zach Moss, and then I'm taking Terry McLaurin as our Howell.
Yeah, I like that
stack. Yeah.
David.
David took A.T. Perry. David took A.T. Perry. Good for him.
Yeah. All right, if we're gonna play through this like Sam Howell stuff, let's commit to the bit and just put Tyreek Hill in.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Waddle for the leverage. Come on, bro. Don't you know?
We already have Zach Moss and Sam Howell. This lineup doesn't care about leverage. We're just building the chalk team.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, one of the funnier little memes that I noticed out there is like there's this constant need or like desire to like buy these like mid bell curve bros to like jam in the secondary receiver that has been struggling, like T Higgins, like or whatever, like Waddle, like
T.
thinking
Higgins
like
is the most mid IQ player of
Yeah.
all time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like these guys like everyone can talk themselves into because they're like high draft picks and all that. Like those aren't like the alpha plays because they just get steamed like out of play. Like it's so yeah, just watch yourself.
Jalen Waddle would be a great play any given week at 2-3%, but he's always like 11% because enough mid IQ bros play DFS.
Even like Gabe Davis last week, like he was coming in like 1% own projection, and like the mid IQ bros, I love their mid IQ there, but I got him up to like 8%. Like it's like, okay, well then he's kind of a bad play.
All right, Ricky, you're back around for your next pick.
Shit. Okay.
you gotta pick someone weird for us because we are just absolutely eating the chalk right now.
Yeah, update the lineup and
say,
resim it, Ricky.
If you locked in Sam Howell and just ran RG projections right now, it would be our lineup.
Yeah, this would be pretty close, eh? All right, well, yeah, we got the what? Yeah. Oh, I got a gross one. Do we want to go real gross or just like semi-gross?
Let's get the gross.
This one is like on title level of terrible takes. Like this one, like this could get a massive groan. Mr. 13 miles per hour himself, Austin Eckler. What do you guys think?
Oh, that is gross. Holy shit.
I mean, it's actually, it's like you couldn't find a more nut spot to play him because even at 13 miles an hour, he's still faster than everyone on the Patriots defense.
Exactly.
So it actually really works out. I think that is an example of something that someone who's good at DFS like Mr. D would do that I would never think of doing in a million years. Instead of playing Austin Eckler, I'm looking at like, Bijan Robinson actually was finally a real part of his team last week. So I better jam that, in every lineup instead.
It's one of those spots that like there's no chance he's getting steam, and it's just like he probably will come in significantly under own proj. Yeah, and you just gotta hope he falls in the end zone a couple times or catches like 7 or 8 balls. Pretty easy.
Don't underestimate the Swolecast bump here. Austin Eckler going to be 2 to 3%.
Yeah, all the people who build their lineups on Wednesday and then don't check them again, and they just sit there and lock their. You're really jammed against the Wednesday Eckler teams.
All right. So who is it? Is it me? I guess. Oh.
Can I just editorialize a little bit and say we got a double stack, Sammy?
That's a good point. Good point.
Okay.
We're also going to need some serious value here. I didn't realize we had Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Nate Nolan, the earmuffs. Logan Thomas, come on down.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess it is Logan Thomas. I mean, really.
Or Curtis
Thomas
Samuel.
is probably Thomas is probably the better player.
Yeah.
Samuel's
Logan
definitely popular.
Logan Thomas. So that leaves us with
if you guys really wanted to put your Galaxy thinking caps on, we play Brian Robinson on this team and just hope that he has like 97 screen yards again.
Love it. Yeah.
I don't know if we can afford him.
Yeah, no, if we do like 3K range defense, then you're at 5,900 flex.
Okay.
The only problem with that one is you're kind of hoping for a really weird game script. Like you kind of hoping for a Washington win there. I guess that's
that okay? But Ricky, isn't that sort of the whole concept of the Sims? Is that like if you think you are controlling for it at a play level of what's going to happen in an NFL game, like you just are hopeless. Like there's just no ability to do it. NFL games are just weird, man. Like it's just what happens.
Yeah. Monday night says, "Hey."
The Sims,
that game should have flown over, by the way, that Monday night game. I mean, that should have been like a 35-28 game, but those teams just had zero dog. Like they just could not cap any drives. It was unbelievable. Doesn't matter. Neither here nor there.
All
right. What's next?
We've got 8,900 for a flex and a defense. So it's
how about we play Jalen Warren and the Falcons defense? I'm worried Jalen Warren might be the mid IQ favorite play this week, so I'm a little worried about that. I know the middle IQ bros love Jalen Warren.
Yeah.
What if you went with the Panthers on the narrative of playing for their coach
Yeah.
that
Clearly they love this guy. Clearly Frank Reich is
against Tampa Bay.
They're gonna win one for the Gipper, Mr. Tepper.
So, and then you've got 6,400 left, and that puts you in the spot of Brees Hall, Debo, DeAndre Hopkins.
Debo is the best play in daily fantasy every single week, so I'm not gonna argue.
You got to check.
that.
Is it zone or is it man to man? Like you can't.
If you can name what the Eagles do, zone or man, off the top of your head, you've never felt the touch of a woman.
Yeah. Let's get Debo in there. Plus, it's the late game, and I think a lot of these are the early games.
You just wanted a little late game hammer for our Clay Matthews sweat.
Yeah, and you can always swap to Kittle if you wanted to. If you feel like you're being blocked. Yeah. All right.
Kittle's the Galbrain prey always. When all these guys are active on San Francisco, just fucking play Kittle. It's gonna, no one. He's like all the narrative bros just can't play him. So therefore, play Kittle.
All right, let's get to running back. We've already talked about Zach Moss, free square, what you're doing there. Looking at some of these other running backs, also, you got Christian McCaffrey at 9K. It just seems like there's a lot of value.
If you like Christian McCaffrey, you're going to get to play as much of him as you want this week because he's going to be about 6.3% owned or whatever.
Because everyone's going to be playing these mid-tier guys. We can't figure out what's happening. You got even like Ramondre's at 6K.
Well, Ramondre stinks and got lucky to score last week. I will be firmly with my middle IQ brothers. I will stand with my middle IQ brothers on Kyren Williams. Yeah.
I was gonna bring up Kyren almost for the same logic I think you're saying, which I think in this new iteration of DFS, old DFS would have been like, I just play the guy that just scored 42 points and we just chase it. New DFS is like the price is up. Now they're against the Browns. Cooper Kupp ran impossibly bad in that last game. Like, I'm not touching Kyren here. I think he's probably going to be what? Like, he's going to max out at like 15%.
Yeah, I've been force-fed this information against my will. I don't remember where I read this. I think maybe Daigle's waiver wire column. The Browns have 3 of their defensive starters out with injury. Again, I'm not being a defense matters, bro.
Whoa.
This information
sounds like
was given
someone
to me.
Never experienced the scent of a woman.
Yeah. But the point being, I don't even really care about any of that. It's just like if Kyren is going to get 7 targets and 14 rushes, I literally do not even care. Like he just is a stone jam.
Hey guys, do you guys remember when defenses didn't matter for 9 months? One year it was just like the number one meme. Firmsmeyer.
Yes.
Really
do defenses matter though?
Here we go. He's bringing it back.
Well, they do matter, but that's all factored into the team total, which flows into the projection, so it's all accounted for.
The way that defenses matter is like you want to play with the mid bro narratives against themselves, like your Kyren versus Chicago, Cleveland thing. Like people are just so unwilling to click that just because the name Cleveland's sitting there.
They see the red one. They see the red one against the position. Yeah, Dave's like,
it's like, and you just go elsewhere. Your mind just quickly considers it and then drifts elsewhere. It's like
Dave's eyes lit up. He's like, "That's correct."
I didn't even realize this, but we were talking about the middle IQ brother when we're literally with the representative of the mid IQ brother.
100%.
I don't know. He could be the left brain guy. The other one.
I think you're right. I think Dave is.
Yeah, but he falls into the nuts like all the time like that.
Yeah.
How about here's where does Rachaad White fall from ownership? Because you want to talk about the flow chart against the Carolina Panthers defense and his workload outside of like Kyren and Zach Moss and CMC, it's been Rachaad White from a workload perspective.
Yeah.
And you guys have groaned every time I've mentioned him on this show. I put him in the lineup every week. Give me a break.
Well, Peter, you do raise a pretty interesting point because I actually think he will end up not being like super chalky this week because of Moss. Like Moss just in every lineup, he eats up a spot that would have been a Rachaad White one. So you have to play Moss and White together for him to get like, I kind of like that angle.
He is playing Carolina though. So that's kind of like the field's favorite spot to attack, which makes like the Baker stacks a lot better too, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we saw that last week. I mean, the Derrick Henry steam was pretty nuts. Like all week, the ownership was like 10%. And then you flip over the cards and it's 30. Like,
not surprising. I think a lot of people talk themselves into, like, I heard a lot of kind of really smart guys talking about, oh, I'm going to get Derrick Henry here at low ownership. He hasn't been that great. And it's like, bros, you got to get like real with yourself. Be honest with yourself. It's December. It's Carolina. like everything's working against you if you want to make this play.
How much
you gotta log on to twitter.com and just see the temperature of the conversation to know which way that's going.
Oh yeah.
Javonte in this game?
Don't mind
Jaleel
it.
McLaughlin only played 2 snaps last game, and the only reason P. Ryan got the goal line touch was because Javonte was in the medical tent. He came back. I think that's pretty interesting. But I mean, how we are burying the lead. Bijan Robinson is like legit doing he's the guy. They're doing the Bijan Robinson stuff.
They're not though.
But he's another guy that's going to get.
You got to grade it on a curve. You got to grade it on a curve because just because Patterson got Patterson got all those touches, but you got to grade it on the pass rate over expectation curve. Like this is a team that wants to run the ball 40 times a game.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for the people that played him all the first half of the season and then saw him go off yesterday or this past week and is going to play him this upcoming week. And if he doesn't do anything,
the verse Jets people, that's another just no for the field. They just say, "Oh, it's Bijan."
That's a no.
Yeah, you can't do it. I'm just going to move over to Warren or Zach Moss or something.
I'm going to low IQ this one. I mean, when you watch Desmond Ridder throw his 3rd pick 6 and the Falcons are down, 21-0, you were going to be like, "Why the hell did I roster Bijan Robinson in this spot?"
I mean, Bijan was my flag plant last week. He might get there again. If I think he's going to be 8% owned here, he might a flag might get planted again. Yeah.
He's got to be.
Last question before we move on to receiver. James Conner in
Wrong
Pittsburgh.
guy. Another running back that starts with a J. Wrong. You were close.
Jalen.
Try again. No. One more.
Jameer.
Jerome.
There we go. Peter got it. Jerome. David went to Jerome Ford before Jameer.
I didn't know he said a J. So
I don't know why this is a thing, but Jerome Ford gets more steam every week than I'm ever prepared. If you just look at his what you think people think he's going to get played, he's like double. He's like 15% owned last week. Like why?
I would love to be with Ricky right after lineups lock. And when he's checking exposures and just laughing, and I would be laughing alongside with him, not really knowing what I'm laughing at, but still laughing alongside with him.
Just good vibes. That's just
fun fact about Jerome Ford. Back-to-back weeks with exactly 11.9 fantasy points. The dude is at least consistent.
That's right.
That's what you want. That's what you want, DFS.
Yeah. It's literally exactly.
Right.
Great advance rate player for my week 13 DraftKings lineups from Jerome Ford.
Is this upcoming week the last week for best ball lineup?
Let's stay on track. We got 16 more minutes, Kitchen.
Oh god.
Yeah. Let's run through. All right, everyone rank your favorite punt wide receiver. A.T. Perry. Michael Wilson / Greg Dortch, Lynn Bowden, Jalen Guyton, Trey Palmer. That's it, really, that I see.
I'm going action time Perry.
I mean, he is actually, like, the thing is I spent the whole show talking about him last week. He was going to be out there the whole game anyways, and then he still, like, Lynn Bowden.
He was still out there the whole game. He just wasn't getting the touches.
Apparently, Carr got mad at him for messing up on a pass in the first quarter is what happened, is what people said.
Well,
how about this? I feel like I need to do like a sacrificial offering for, drafting way too much Quentin Johnston, and just to the fantasy gods play Jalen Guyton this week at 3,200, just as a way to repent for all my QJ sins.
You want to hear a depressing Quentin Johnston fact while we're talking about Jalen Guyton?
There's no such thing as a fun Quentin Johnston fact.
No.
They're all fun.
Deron Bland has more interception return yards than Quentin Johnston has receiving yards.
I hate it.
The Bland stats are pretty good. All
Yeah, I
right.
made
There
my
was
own
a-
Thanksgiving by having a viral Deron
Yeah.
Bland tweet.
There was a rush to get that tweet out. There was a lot of Bland versus some guy
First
tweet. Yeah,
to
you
market. First
You
to
were.
market.
were. Yeah.
All right. You have to choose one Colts receiver. Pittman
Downs.
versus
Downs.
Downs.
It's literally the easiest choice in the universe.
Did they both have 13
Really?
targets last week?
No, Pittman only had 12. And Downs is, I think, better. And so as the situation becomes more egalitarian, I think their prices will flop at a certain point.
Yeah.
That's a
Ricky?
weird. That's a weird dynamic. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't know who's better or whatever. I don't know ball and shit. But that just saying that game perspective with Zach Moss being 80% owned, it potentially could really crater Pittman is down ownership this week. Nice little pivot play there. It's tough to say exactly what the field is going to do. They're big Pittman and Downs fans.
That's why he makes the big bucks, folks.
Yeah, it kind of it sounded like you said a lot without really saying anything.
I didn't take a side. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know ball. So
There's good
That's
people
like
on both sides.
That's
He's
a subtle
he's
side
doing
right there.
no. He's learning how to be a good performative tout. Like he gives you
Tout,
something to think about.
yes.
He gives
Yeah.
He gives you a little bit of fat to chew on, but
Yeah.
it doesn't tell you anything that you could come back later and be like, "What a fucking moron," you know?
Because no matter what happens, if Matt Moss crushes, Ricky said you got to play him in basically every lineup. If Pittman and Downs hit, he's like, no, they're
Yeah, he's
great
like,
leverage off of him.
That's
And I'm like,
right.
God, Ricky's a
saw
genius
it.
no matter what fucking happens.
Yeah,
Man, I'm
it-
picking the side.
Michael Zimmerman just said Downs is the middle IQ play, is what he said. He's the small brain play, which means middle IQ.
I will say if you're playing Pittman, here's what my left brain is going to say: that you need a Titans player in that lineup.
Sims are not going to agree with that. Sims are going to
Well,
say that's
I don't
dog
care what
shit.
the Sims say.
What's any addition? I'd like to peel back that one a little bit. Any reasoning?
Yeah, because I think they're going to need to throw the ball while being down, and so you're looking for one of these Titans players. Really, only two Titans players to really go off.
Yeah, Nick
So
Westbrook and Keeney.
Yeah, Keeney.
Yeah.
Let's get him in there.
How about this? We have not, other than a Debo man versus zone split, we have not talked about a single player in this Eagles Niners game. Are we doing anything with this?
Yeah, play Jalen Hurts because he's the best player in fantasy football, and people will be afraid. There's never been a line more disrespectful than the 49ers being favored in Philadelphia. Like, that's my gold star lock of the week, is betting on the Eagles as home fucking dogs to Brock Purdy.
AJ Brown is 8,800.
Yeah, play him. Hurts, Devonta, Debo. They're all good plays. And unlike last week where that game got steamed, people are gonna psyop themselves the other way, where they're gonna be like, oh, no one from that game is a good play.
I feel like
I don't know. I feel like Eagles feel like a trap play. I mean, they literally have given up the most points to wide receivers of any team in the league, more than the Commanders. Like, their secondary is trash.
Yeah, San Fran's going to get a lot of steam here, I think, just because of the gross nature of the passing options this slate.
Could you just go naked Hurts though?
Tush push equity.
Yeah,
Just push that naked Hurts right into your roster.
The Sims are going to give you DeAndre Swift. I bet they did to me last week. I mean, I guess it'll depend on what the projected ownership for Hurts is.
Ricky gave you quite the little look. Not my Sims, buddy.
Well,
Davis thinking of the Sims think the same thing every week, just non-price.
It'll depend on what
Just-
Hurts and his projected ownership is. If he's 8%, it'll give you no Swift. If he's 15%, you'll get a lot of Swift.
Let's see here. So it should come in at pretty low ownership. People are off him now, right? Like, people are just done with this push bullshit.
People were pretty tilted with Swift last week.
Yeah. All right.
Ricky, are you looking for any tips for your sim? Because Davis apparently has some.
Davis is the world's first sim consultant.
Yeah.
He will tell you how to fix your sim.
It'd be nice to build in a little that Twitter vibes thing.
Yeah.
Vibes, the vibe based tool.
Didn't that site, does that site, what were they called? Was it like Fanshare or whatever that used to try to get like the sentiment index going, like curating podcast mentions and all of that?
They were pretty bad. They gave it a nice little try, but they failed.
You mentioned Eckler. Any love for Keenan this week?
Can't be too bad. Guy catches a million balls a game.
Just crushes every week.
Every week,
Yeah. That versus New England matchup is one people just for whatever reason just don't like. It's a slog. It's slow. Bill Belichick takes away. There you go. It's another reason to play
the best players.
Middle IQ. That's the number one middle IQ.
That is the classic. Yeah. Oh, I love that one.
Bill Belichick about to get fired, but man, he'll keep Keenan Allen on lock.
Yeah. As long as he holds his number one player, he could just point to that.
McLaurin currently the highest points per dollar value guy in projections. Any problem? F1.
I mean, my problem is he hasn't scored over 10 DraftKings points in a month. Would be kind of my issue.
This is
alpha.
This is Christian
is he
Kirk.
The alpha
this is
anymore? Christian
Kirk, where you don't play him, you don't play him, you don't play him. 43% owned, 50 ball. It's exactly. It's written in the stars, buddy.
You guys want the grossest. I was just looking at my Sims. The grossest play that it loves is these double receivers from the Rams versus Cleveland. Like they could legitimately be 1% or lower. And I'm not saying they're playable or recommending them, but if you want like a guaranteed like Sklansky Bucks play, you just stack those.
Puka, I feel like leads the league in Sklansky's actually.
Yeah. But out of curiosity, Ricky, what do your Sims have for Kyron ownership right now that's impacting that?
Not too much, like because the Cleveland thing, like it's keeping them under 10%.
Okay, so it still likes the receivers that much.
Yeah, that's just more like just because the combined stack of those three guys is like literally 0.5%, and it's you could just mass chalk with those guys too.
If Myles Garrett is out, let's just go all in.
There you go. Defense is
day to day. Day to day.
Defensive players matter.
It's right,
Ricky.
But they honestly with Flacco, like the Rams could have like starting field position at the 40 every drive. What are you expecting?
I don't know. Is Flacco better, like worse than like DTF or whatever that guy's name is?
No, he's better. He's better at throwing the ball than Define the relationship is.
Define the relationship. Yeah,
the relationship has been defined. It's,
I was working a really problematic joke in my head that I would never put on Twitter, but I can try to float here, which is that the Browns did something with their quarterback situation that Deshaun Watson never did with his masseuse, which was DTR.
It's pretty good. You got there. It needs.
I got like workshop. I need a few more.
It needs like
open
three
mics.
more sprinkles of paprika, but like it's you're definitely like you're not wrong. Like there's a way.
Yeah, it's just there's been a lot of low hanging fruit jokes with Deshaun Watson. I'm trying to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, God, I have a legitimate question. Hard pivot from a bad joke to Ricky, those situations where you have the uber chalk, the Zach Moss stuff, like sometimes I know I've said this and I don't know if it's true, but this idea of like you use the stack around it to also help it be unique. So maybe you do like the Minshew and the Downs and Zach Moss, or you mentioned the one with Kyron and the pass catchers for the Rams. How do you think about like getting unique around a mega chalk from a correlation standpoint?
Well, obviously anything that's off Zach Moss correlation is going to be in that game. So like, and he's so cheap. The correlation is just like not nearly as strong. Like Zach Moss needs to get like 13 to like break the slate. So it's like, oh, well, like that doesn't really imply too much in terms of the correlation of the other players. So like, so it's the correlation game is going to be tough to play in that game. I think. I guess you could go like D Hamber and try to like just ball control them out of the game. That's like something. Kitchen perked up there. Yeah. We got one. Actually, are we going to be officially in December by that week? Is that
we will?
Yes.
Oh, there we go, bros. We got it.
It'll be the third, and it will be. I think the weather is mid-50s. I did check the weather here in Nashville. It's going to be like mid-50s, so not too bad.
Sets up perfectly.
Demario Douglas, looking at guys like if he's out, like
play.
who did the
don't tempt middle IQ Peter to come out. No,
Juju.
Middle IQ. No, wrong. What there's a new
Bourne's out.
Tyquan Thornton. Peter will be rushing. If the Sims give Tyquan Thornton as a positive value play, Peter Peter's ready to lose it.
Honestly,
all on
like one of the
Taekwon.
greatest missteps I've made in my fantasy career is somehow having my brand associated with Tyquan Thornton. I don't know how this happened. Someone tagged me in the Discord, like, here's Peter's gold star lock of the week. I'm like, how the fuck did this happen?
Because Sean kept making you take him in like the 9th round in Best Ball Mania. He'd be like, we can't risk him not being there in the 10th. We got to take him now.
All right.
Definitely some good plays on that. Great offense there.
Totally.
Ricky, what's your name on FanDuel?
This Curtis Painter.
Curtis Painter?
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah. So we're gonna do
That's
a FanDuel
so
lineup.
funny. People like the kids listening to this, they don't even remember who Curtis Painter is.
Yeah.
A man who looks like Gardner Minshew with a handle named Curtis Painter. The RikkiDee story.
The vibes. The vibes.
All right. So
Do
since
Sims
you do
even
play,
work on FanDuel, Ricky?
Yeah.
Or is it just
I've been wondering that. I don't know. I don't think they do. I don't think a lot of sites have built that in because like no one can like properly sim the field because no one knows how to like use that.
Ricky
site.
just has an abacus for his FanDuel lineup.
and
Sure,
in the
sure.
secret chat, Davis was once again reprimanded for like, imagine not playing. Someone says, imagine not playing on FanDuel. And Davis comes back immediately with, I don't know, my 40% ROI seems pretty good on DK.
I just ship it. The people play awful against me every week. Why would I need to log into a new site when people play bad?
It's
Yeah, and then
not
you
a
laundry
news
the
site.
money back through the tournament ecosystem.
That's
right.
that's God
I love it.
intended. That's how it's supposed to work.
Ricky,
No one wins.
No one wins.
No one wins the GPPs. It's too hard.
The people,
I'll try to do-
are enjoying Ricky on the show.
Yeah, I got to try to dumb it down a little bit here. Let's get some like some
it's
man of the
this-
street
no, it's
takes
good.
here.
no, this is good. This is good stuff. Like, it's nice having a fellow person to kind of raise the level of the show up. So you start us with this lineup.
Is that FanDuel? I haven't looked at FanDuel, so
We literally never look at it. We just say names we
All right,
know
so
and hope the
first,
salary
yeah.
fit.
Just say Zach
Yeah.
Moss so you can take credit for it on Sunday.
Give me a. Let me just take a look at the FanDuel salaries.
Okay.
please.
All right.
All right,
How about
I'll
Just you guys go.
I'll make our pick. I'm taking Jalen Hurts. You can play the best plays on FanDuel. That's what I've
Yeah.
heard.
That's true.
right,
I hear you play guys that get a lot of touchdowns on FanDuel.
Touchdowns are good on FanDuel.
Yeah, touchdowns are good.
Okay, Peter.
All right, if we're playing this game getting nutty, I need a pass catcher on San Francisco. Give me Brandon Ayuk coming back.
No, dude, they play man. You can't do it.
Can't be done, man. Cannot be done.
He's
It's
8K, Peter. Jeez.
Incapable.
Pay
of
up to be
scoring.
contrarian, Dave. Maybe read a book.
Oh.
It's so good.
All right.
Dave, you got to save us some money, dude.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking right now. If
Kyle
Dallas
Phillips.
is Dallas Goddard it's about Davis now. Is Dallas Goddard going to play this week?
No, I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think so.
Okay.
Although there's another narrative brewing there. If Dallas Goddard plays, you got to just remove Devonta Smith from your entire player pool. Guy,
Yeah, 'cause he's
clearly just goes back to
Right.
being a complete zero.
Mhm.
It's another one.
Yeah.
That's
all right. I'm
obvious.
gonna go with a guy who is just probably priced too low. 5,600 running back spot. Going to get a lot of the touches there. Zach Moss against the Titans.
Oh man,
Where do you get
gotta
your
watch out for that
ideas?
match.
Where do you get your ideas, Dave?
Okay. Next.
All right, Ricky's
back
got
to
to make
Ricky.
a pick.
I got it. I got this one. This is back into the hashtag. Good play. Good smart. Just good old plays from the old Sims. Got to go Javonte Williams here. Just a spot where the field's just not going to be super interested in. Doesn't have a great game log. Good price.
I think
6,600.
he's going to be
Ricky
chalkier than you think.
Ricky just sorted by points per dollar, and
Did I? I just looked at
Yeah.
this is my own.
Yeah, I
but
think it's going
I
to
got,
be
it's all in
chalkier
my
than you
head,
think.
guys. I got these
Every-
things built in.
Every
He's gonna be chalkier.
optimal is going to have
Is he-
Javonte.
I just thought the field didn't really like him, but FanDuel does tend to get a little out of control.
At least we get to see behind the curtain. Like, you know, you're, you know, in your mind, it's like, why would they play Javonte?
Yeah, he's kind of gross.
All right, I got. We can I'll give you guys a choose your own adventure.
Kyle
You
Pitts.
can either play Lynn Bowden
Stop.
as the Rashid Shaheed replacement for the New Orleans Saints, or
Airborne threat.
you could play Jalen Waddle because he's great leverage off of Tyreek Hill at 7,800. You guys could choose your own adventure between those two.
Well, you forced us to Jalen Waddle. So
Dude,
there it is.
I'd rather play Cooper
Primo
Kupp at
leverage off
7,100.
Tyreek Hill.
I was going to say we should talk about the Cooper Cup price tag. When I was reviewing the FanDuel slate about 30 seconds ago, I noticed he's only
Yeah.
7,100.
Let's just play him.
He's
I'm
$100
changing my
cheaper
mind.
than
I'm
Puka.
changing my mind. We're playing him. We're playing Cooper Cup. I'm changing my mind.
Yeah.
Oof. It's cheaper than Puka. You'd love to see it.
All right, should we're not going to go full tush push here, right? We're going to stack up Hurts, just throw AJB in.
No, I think we
8,400.
should go full tush
Do
push at $9,000
yeah.
on FanDuel. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, 3 tush pushies coming up.
Yeah. And one passing touchdown to Julio Jones.
Yeah, 70%.
Yeah.
Julio
Yeah.
Jones had an 87% route participation last
Yeah.
week, by the way. Just if anyone wants to fact check that, it's true. The year of our Lord 2023.
Yeah, they were like designing screens for him, like in crunch time. It's like, okay.
All right.
When we talked about defenses don't matter, Ricky, are you on the side of like team defenses that they really just accommodate who you're looking at from the skill player's perspective? So you
Definitely not.
don't, yeah. So are you more adept to play more expensive defenses than just the cheapies?
Oh, I don't know. It's just whatever the Sims tell me to do. I'll just get the ownership. But it's just tough to fade some of these super chalk ones. But
Yeah, like I'm seeing right now, like Tampa Bay, our projections have him like have them way above anybody else, and they're 4,800. And
Yeah.
I could go 3,200 and play literally Carolina against Tampa Bay for
You love this
1,600.
You're
Carolina
obsessed with
spot.
Carolina defense.
got the
this week. Why don't you
Carolina
guys get a
narrative.
No,
winning
I'm
kitchen?
just. It's really the cheap defense. It's not just the name, the Panthers.
I mean, I wish
not
you
just
guys.
the narrative.
I wish you guys would get serious about how much they're ready to play for David Tepper. Like, I don't know. I don't know why you guys won't see this obvious play right in front of you.
Seriously.
They're gonna
Oh.
put a photo up in the locker room of CJ Stroud and say we could have had this guy
We
go
could-
win one for Dave.
All right, let's put in. We got Coop. Let's
Kitchen,
put in.
the Sims don't mind a defense against an Oppo wide receiver.
Yeah, let's play the Rams defense.
Yeah, I was gonna play the Rams defense. It was with Cooper, 3,700.
It's fine.
First
All right.
thoughts.
Let's if we're gonna do this, should we just toss in Kyron here? We haven't gotten a Kyron share, and we already said we liked
Yes.
him.
Yes. Iron.
8,500. Nice.
He's
price.
so expensive.
No,
Sweet.
this is why Sims don't work on
This is
FanDuel.
good.
They just look at that and they're like, what is going on? Why would Kyron Williams be 8,500?
In David's mind, the Sim is just like an actual hard computer that's like short circuiting and there's sparks flying everywhere.
Correct, Peter. That is correct. All right, we got to play action. We got to play Action Man Perry. There's no other playable wide receiver down there.
How about let's do a defense first, and then we can figure out.
We have
You
the
got,
Rams.
you got
Perry.
Rams. You got Rams. Action man.
No, sorry, I
Perry.
meant
action time, Perry.
Action
Action
time,
time.
Perry. Yeah,
I wish
All touches Perry.
all
No.
touches Perry.
his middle name, if it started with an H, it's last week we already saw the all-time high
High.
for Mr. Perry.
We could do
All right.
we could do Kate Otten if he wasn't against that vaulted Panthers
got here?
defense that's
Yeah.
so riled up to play for Mr. Tepper. We could do Pitts. We
Kyle
could do
You
Let's
could
do
fit
Pitts.
Goddard in there if he plays.
Pitts ran like a season low in routes last week. We can't do the Pitts.
that's
shit,
not
guys.
that so that is
That's-
not even directionally accurate. He actually ran the
Oh.
second most passing routes on the team. It's just they only had 18 dropbacks and 3 of them were interceptions.
Yeah, they had a
There's-
pick six.
No,
So-
I said it was the lowest amount of routes that he has run all season.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but they didn't
that is
throw.
middle IQ. That is middle IQ
Yeah.
directionally.
11% of the targets
accurate.
were not. Trust me, I've already gone down enough with the pitch ship. Let's save the listeners with one good
Dude,
lineup.
the best ball profits on Kyle Pitts next year are going to be unreal when he is a 13th round pick, and I still get to take him. It's going to be incredible.
My Sims say just put Pat Fryermuth or David Njoku in here.
Fryermuth is fine.
It's too bad. I'm just looking at Taysom Hill. He's like a little bit more expensive, but this could be the old classic.
True.
The field favorite spot to just get a little 30 ball from Mr. Hill.
Yeah. And then we have exactly enough salary for all touches Perry if we play Pat Fryermuth. It's beautiful.
It's perfect.
Yeah, this
The
is
move-
a beautiful
the move-
game.
The move could get quite a bit of steam here, though, versus Arizona.
Yeah.
Another
you will.
good old Arizona pass funnel to the tight end spot.
Dudes, I hate to say it. This lineup looks like a total shipper to me.
A total shipper.
Shipping Sklansky, though.
Look at
All right.
Sosa really making a meal of this gift share right here.
Yeah. All right. So let me see it.
It's too good.
It's
All right. Tight end seems gross this week, so I don't know what you guys are doing. You mentioned Njoku, like, yeah, he did get a lot of targets.
Fryermuth or McBride.
You just play McBride every week.
Yeah.
Just play him, lock him. That's what we do these days.
Yep.
Although what's Ertz's situation? Is he coming
Dude, if
back?
Ertz comes back and ruins this
it's
McBride
gonna
run
be
out,
so fucking
yeah.
pure.
No, they are. I Googled it last week because I saw someone pick him up in a main event that I'm in. And I was like,
Oof.
wait, what? Like, is Ertz coming back? And it was like no timetable for return. So I don't know what was going on there, but
What-
Davis reviewing the bids. Head to
Yeah.
the Google
What
machine.
about,
What is this guy up to?
What about a guy who just loves the end zone recently? Tyler Higbee.
Ew.
no, you already
That's
missed it.
chasing.
You missed his two touchdown game. It's like a solar eclipse. It
In
only
the
happens
past.
once a year, dude.
You're probably right.
Kitchen,
That's big.
how are you not going to tout your guy Chiggy Okonkwo coming off a 5-target game, bud?
He ran less routes than Josh Wiley did.
Yeah, Wiley is like Chig.
total play volume was down, bro. It's a noisy
No,
stat.
if you have watched this game, this team, Chig is frustrating. Like, he's just not the alpha guy that we need.
If you just watch the games, you'll understand that Chigakonkwo is at best a tertiary option in the Titans' run-heavy offense under Will Levis. Dude.
Chig hasn't had.
What's-
Last week was his highest scoring DraftKings game of the entire year at 8.5 points.
Yeah,
That's
it's
one of the
like-
grossest game logs I've ever seen.
He's got
Yeah.
more letters in his name than catches this
He's
year,
like-
I think.
No,
he's a poor man's Tommy Tremble. Like, he's not even.
David,
like, I would
please
rather-
tell me you played Tommy Tremble last week on DraftKings with Hayden Hurst out.
No, but I have played him this season. In a showdown contest. So, got my and he's on my best ball Dino squad. So there you go.
Naturally.
This
Naturally.
game
All
log
right.
looks actually better than Chig's.
All right, I
because-
actually like legit have a hard out. I forgot I have to do another show after this.
All right. Well, final thoughts, final takes. Want to just give everyone the opportunity to, maybe you're watching this show and you're like, man, for the first time, and like, wow, this is a lot of good info. Well, hit that subscribe button. And
Road to 10K.
Let's get you. Let's get you in the
Road
fold
to
now.
10K. That road is just infinite.
It's a long and winding road, brother.
Long and winding one. I
It's-
like it.
Yeah, it's really just there's the avalanche effect, and it's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will happen. So, major windfall coming through. Ricky, thanks so much for joining us. You want to plug anything? You got your own site coming out, your own
Nah.
projection source, Discord.
Just everyone's just listening. Just find something better to do with your time. This gambling life, it's not really that great.
That's Ricky's new thing is just
Yeah.
touting not gambling. Just like,
Yeah.
dude, just don't gamble. Do anything.
like-
other
Smell the
than
roses.
gamble.
Yeah, smell the roses. We got a life to live here, guys. Come on.
All right, Davis, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Kyler Murray, Greg Dortch. Enjoy your wealth. I'll see y'all next week. Oh, the invites on DraftKings have slowed. I don't know what's up with that. Davis Mattek.
Maybe because you're the late swap
DFS,
king.
And then UK on DraftKings. I'll play anyone. If I think you're bad, I'll play you up to 535. If I don't know you at all, I'll play you up to 215.
Whoa.
Quite the caveat to all play anyone right there.
There's some limits there. All right, Pete, final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I just appreciate Ricky coming by. We actually huddled before inviting Ricky, and we made an offer to actually pay him to come on the show. And he just wrote back with DFS effective altruism. And so for that, we thank you, Ricky.
I'm here for the people. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for everyone tuning in. Thanks for Sosa for being with us. I would like to just give a shout out to the people. Last week we promoted the Props and Pick'em Black Friday special, and it just crushed. And I really feel like that was from the response from the Swolecast listeners, knowing that they had to pick us up. That we weren't just some dead weight on the company dime, that we were actually an asset. So props. Yeah, props to the Swolies. Props to the Swolies.
Swole Nation.
Swole Nation.
It's so good, it's bad. I would wear a Swole shirt.
Yeah.
All right.
I would not. I would not wear a Swole shirt.
Davis, you would wear it. Once you saw Peter wearing it, you would wear it. All right, that will be
Dan's
it.
gonna make us start calling him El Prez.
We'll see y'all next week here on the Swolecast and RotoGrinders.com. Peace.